This is the most extreme version of the Chevy Colorado you can buy today. It is, of course, the 2024 ZR2 Bison Edition. In this video, we're going to check out all the features and then put it to the test right here at our very windy mountain test course. That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. Welcome to the new and improved Driving Sports TV Mountain Test Course. In addition to adding the incredibly steep Anaconda Trail, we've also made significant changes to the existing Sidewinder Trail. Today we'll be driving both the Anaconda and the Sidewinder in just a little bit. But first, let me introduce the vehicle I'm driving. This is the 2024 Chevrolet Colorado ZR2 Bison Edition. With this package, Chevy took the highly capable ZR2 and they've made it even better with equipment from the experts at American Expedition Vehicles, or AEV. Like the standard ZR2, under the hood is a 2.7-liter Turbomax 4-cylinder engine, producing a peak 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it powers all 4 wheels through a 2-speed transfer case with a selectable full-time, part-time 4-wheel drive system. EPA rates this setup at 16 miles to the gallon both in the city and the highway. And just like the standard ZR2, you get lockers in the front and the back. The Bison here includes a factory 3-inch lift with 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory mud terrain tires wrapped around exclusive 17 by 8.5-inch beadlock capable alloy wheels. The spare is mounted in the bed for quick access. The shocks are ZR2 Multimatics with jounce control. The jounce control part adds nitrogen-charged bump stops, which help to smooth out bottom-out impacts. Ground clearance, thanks to these 35-inch tires, is a whopping 12.2 inches. On the Bison Edition, both front and rear bumpers are unique, and in fact, this is a winch-ready setup, although it does not come with a winch. The side flares are also Bison exclusives. That gives the Bison here some really impressive geometry. Approach angle is 38.2 degrees, departure 26 degrees, breakover 26.9 degrees. Inevitably, you will run out of ground clearance, and at that point, you have a beefy skid plate in the front, armor over your diff and your fuel tank, plus you also get these really nice rock sliders. The Chevy Colorado is only available as a crew cab, so of course the ZR2 Bison, also a crew cab. You also get a short bed. And a lot of that bed is taken up with the spare tire, which is really great if you need quick access to it, but if you're just daily driving this thing, that might be a bit much. Of course, you can always take it out. Now the bed here is lined, which is nice. You also get this really fun little water-sealed gate storage, which is neat. Of course, back here you also get power and lots of tie-downs. Max payload here is 1,050 pounds, towing 5,500. It is less than the standard Colorado trims because this is set up for running through the desert, not hauling mulch, although I'm sure some owners will do that too. All this off-road goodness does come at a price. As you see it here, you're looking at $65,125 US, including destination, and a number of packages. Inside, you get some swanky leather seats that are both heated and cooled, as well as a big infotainment touchscreen with a surround view camera system. The plan today is to try out some of the features over on our revamped Sidewinder Trail, and then we're going to take it to the Anaconda and see if we can get to the top. So far, all I've driven up there is a 2-door Jeep on 35s. If you want to see how this truck compares against my Ranger Raptor, we have a separate video just for that. And of course, I'm also going to bring my Ranger Raptor here to our mountain test course in the near future. So you can watch that video and this video and see which one did better. With that said, let's get this test started for the ZR2 Bison. If you've watched my videos about the Silverado in Colorado, you probably remember that I had an issue with it switching from 4 low into 2 high without me telling it to. So I thought physically that shouldn't even be possible, but apparently it is, because I've now done it 3 times. I was recently talking to Ezra Dyer from Car and Driver magazine. He actually had the same problem, but when he had it, it was in a much more precarious situation, and it ended up damaging the truck because he thought he had 4 low, he hit the throttle, only the rear wheels engaged, and it slid to the side and dented the truck. Well, of course, he's with Car and Driver, so he was actually able to get an answer out of GM engineers. And it turns out that if you're 2-pedaling, the system doesn't like that, and it will, in certain circumstances, disengage the transfer case. So, this is a real thing. Car and Driver published a whole article based on Ezra Dyer's conversations with the engineers as to how and why this happens. Short version, if you're 2-pedaling, which I do a lot, that is where you're doing both throttle and brake to help manage the powertrain in tricky situations, yeah, it doesn't like that. So instead, they recommend using the terrain crawl mode if you want that essential functionality. But I'm sorry, if you've been raised without all these modes and you're just jumping in a truck and you're using it like you would an off-road truck, it should work. So that is a downside of the automatic transfer case in this truck. Now you do get 4 auto, which is nice, so you can have that kind of all-wheel drive driving experience where you can drive all-wheel drive even on pavement. But there's a price for that, and that is the ability for the transfer case to throw up its arms and go home. So let's see what this can do. A super windy day here out at our mountain test course. I do hope that the drones don't blow away. Go ahead and start this in Baja mode, and I'm just going to blast up to the other view pad before we kick this off. So that puts it into 4 high, turns off traction control, does not engage any lockers. Great, let's do this. Let me turn on that front camera because I can't see anything. There we go, over that massive hood. So these shocks are not adjustable, but they are very cool. They're the Multimatic DSSVs, and they are designed to absolutely absorb the harshest punishment. And then this one is enhanced with jounce control, which are nitrogen-filled dampers that prevent the truck from, when you hit the extent of your shock, it prevents it from being a jarring experience. It's a very cool setup. And yeah, it makes little runs like that really nice. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a desert available here, but I mean, I have this little area. And yeah, even in these rough conditions, this truck actually feels really good. The damping, I mean, yeah, obviously I still feel the surface, but the damping absorbs a lot of what would be otherwise a very brutal road. Woohoo! Boom! Right. Whoa, and then up we go. Woohoo! Oh man, that is so much fun. But we're not here to test the high-speed capabilities of this truck. Really need a desert to do that. Instead, we're going to test the more advanced off-road features of this Bison. Because it's sitting on 35-inch tires, it has a ton of ground clearance, and we're definitely going to use every inch of it today. We're going to go ahead and start with the Sidewinder, which has been updated with more ditches. But first, let's get down. Let's go down the ladder. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is a pretty basic one, hill descent control. What that'll do is it'll manage our descent using individual wheel brakes to keep us tracking straight. Basically, it makes it so all I have to worry about is pointing the truck in the right direction. Let's go and put the drive in low, so it'll lock it into lower gears. Oh, and let me change my display. That shows me all of my pitch and roll. There we go. So we're gonna start going down here. Hill descent speed set to 2 miles per hour. Now, can I adjust it? Tap it, up, set to 1. Can I increase and decrease with that? Yes, I can. Oh, we're at 27 degrees, by the way. This is fairly steep in case you didn't know. Okay, and then if I want to, I can apply a little gas to roll a little faster. Oh, now it's set my hill descent to 4. So basically the speed that you approach is the speed that it sets it at. So now I'm set to 1. Can't really see over this massive hood, and I know there's a new ditch on the left here. So let's turn that camera on. And we'll play with the cameras in a little bit here. This is where that little hole is. Ooh, the hole is a new addition, by the way. Too many hardcore off-roaders were getting up the ladder too easy, so we added a little ditch. Just a little, something for a little extra fun. Okay, and it's managing that speed really nicely. I'm at 24 degrees pitch, and yeah, full control. Of course, that's the least that you expect out of a truck like this, right? Well, at this point, I can just roll out, and let's head on over to the Sidewinder. Now that I'm done with hill descent control, I just turn it off, and I drive like normal. Now here is actually the first change that we made to the old course. Yep, added a drainage ditch. It always pooled too much here. Now, obviously, no big deal for this truck. Oh, that should help with drainage in the fall at least. Climb up. It's a big one. Again, no big deal for a truck equipped with 35s, but once we start bringing the smaller stuff out here, yeah, they're going to have some problems with it. Now, right up here, we can test out the camera systems as we prepare for this new double dip section. So the cameras are really great on this. We get all sorts of different views. Because this does include the optional camera package, I can look behind me, in front of me, I can even look under me, which is pretty amazing. So here we have our first complicated section. We have some holes, and then we have a tabletop. Again, don't expect it to be a problem for this truck, but let's approach it appropriately. So we got all these different drive modes. Like, what do we use? Well, we could use off-road mode, or we could use terrain mode. Now, this would actually be naturally a terrain mode place. What this will do is it'll slow down the throttle quite a lot, and also apply wheel braking, but it'll also apply brakes when I lift my foot off the throttle. This essentially replaces two-pedal driving, which these Chevy trucks don't like. So let's see if this is as good in this very, fairly easy section of the course. Oh, wow, that throttle is so much slower. It's kind of like when I was using a throttle controller on my Ranger. Yeah, and then wheel braking is kicking in, so I don't have diffs locked at all, but clearly we need some power transfer here. So it's going to use that individual wheel braking to shift power from the wheel that doesn't have grip to a wheel that does have grip. It's now asking, it's saying vehicle stuck, turn off traction. No. Because we are moving forward. You should know we're moving forward, truck. And then we'll go up the tabletop, and then if I just remove my foot off the gas right here, it should stop. Ooh, I don't like that rollback. So if I was two-pedaling it, I wouldn't have any rollback. But here, I have rollback. So the terrain mode isn't quite as good. Oh, okay, so now it's grabbing. I don't like variability when off-roading. So I would say it's as good as a two-pedal when sometimes. Man, Chevy, you're making it hard for me here. And then we have a new ditch here before we start our climb out. So again, just moving slow. So at this angle, I'm gonna lift and I'm going to take my foot off and it holds it there. Okay, maybe it needs more of an incline before that brake kicks in. Let's see, I'm at 23 degrees here. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm at 18 degrees here. And I still get a couple inches of rollback. Don't like that. See, if I was two-pedaling it, it wouldn't do that because my foot would be on the brake already. And then normally we blast up this section, but I'm just gonna keep it in terrain mode and ease up slow and in control. More of that wheel braking. Okay. Now I think it's time to move on to something a little bit more challenging. Let's go to the Anaconda. Okay, well, so far this is doing great, so long as I now know not to two-pedal it. And man, this terrain mode, it is so... the pedal, you really have to move it to get any throttle, which is good. It gives me much better feel over what the throttle is doing. Well, that's cool. think that'll be useful up on the next course. Now, the Anaconda is our new course. It climbs about 200 feet, the highest portion of the property, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've only driven it with a Jeep on 35 so far. A Jeep Wrangler Rubicon X with 35-inch tires, which we have 35s today too, so thankfully we have the ground clearance to get through the course, I think. But keep in mind, that was a two-door Wrangler, so it has a much better breakover angle than this truck does, because this has a longer wheelbase. The breakover being the middle point, what you might hit as you go up and over objects. So yeah, no more talking. Let's hit the Anaconda. Let's go ahead and just switch this into off-road mode and see how far we get here. Now, this is a very steep, loose climb. I don't think it's going to be terribly difficult, though. Kind of pitch do we have here? Oh, that's definitely loose. 21 degrees. I mean, we did just build this. Okay, it's getting a little complicated, so let's go ahead and lock the rear. And we'll give this one a little run. Little running start here. Here we go. There we go. Come on, climb, 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 climb. Don't hit the wall. Don't fall off the cliff. Ha, okay, here we are. The start of the Anaconda. Now, I got two ways I can go. Neither way is actually that difficult down here for a vehicle like this, so I'm just going to keep on moving. Keep on moving here. That looks pretty steep, though. Oh, up and over. Another loose surface. Okay, tight climb. Come on. And this is actually the first real challenge part. We got a really deep ditch, and then we have some side-by-side ditches as well. So this is going to test articulation as well as ground clearance. So we're going to look for power distribution here. I've locked my rear locker. I'm in 4 high. Actually, at this point, let's go ahead and put this into 4 low, just so I have, a little bit more control here. Hit the down button, put it into neutral. Transfer case is switching. I'm in 4 low. Yeah, because this is complicated, not only am I going to do that, I'm also going to put it in terrain mode so I have single pedal. Front camera on. Let's go. Listen for any grinding, although with that improved approach angle, we should be okay on this one. Oh, that feels so deep. How we doing? Oh. Now we have these ditches, which are really deep ditches. Feel for that slider. Oh, yep, we're using those sliders. We have slid. Ladies and gentlemen, we have slid. Okay, so anything short of 35s probably won't get through this without some severe grinding. Definitely not touching in all places. Dip down there. Okay, well, that's interesting. Forgot about this dip. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to put my wheel on the rock there to continue this climb. Up, over. We got a tight turn before our steep climb to the top. Now I could try climbing this. You know what? I'm not ready to do this yet. This is going to be... This is too much. Like right now, I am at... Oh, it's only 25 degrees. Can I do this? You know what? Maybe not with the manufacturer's vehicle first. Let me do it with my own truck first. So I'm going back out. Now I'm in terrain mode, so... Ooh. Am I going to rub that back bumper a little bit? Wow, that thing is loud. Okay, we're good. We're good. Man, that terrain mode, it really puts the brakes on whenever I start moving there. Okay, we're going to turn here. Now, this will require some extra hardware. Either we need to go more speed, or we need to turn on lockers. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on front and rear lockers. I would like this camera view to actually have wheel tracks. Right now it just kind of has general guidelines, but they're clearly not where the wheels are tracking because it's much wider than it's the width of the vehicle, basically. Not ideal. So put my tire on the wheel there. Up and over. Oh, there we go. Now keep in mind I'm in terrain mode, so when I take my foot off the gas, it just locks me in place, which is nice. And we're just going to continue on here. Now we have a couple ditches and a couple breakovers that are going to be kind of tough for this truck because of the longer wheelbase. We do have those sliders though that we can put to good use. I'm actually going to go at a slight angle here, which means putting my wheel a little bit off the edge. Ooh, just a little grinding on that slider, but that is what they are for, right? And now we have the final exit. I know this is tough. Even the Jeep had trouble with this. I'm at a very steep, I'm only at 18, 19 degrees right now, but 20. I know it'll get super steep right on the exit here. Let's do it. Let's just see if I can do it with a little progressive throttle, or if I need to really jam over it. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, to the top. Ha! Well, the ZR2 Bison has conquered the Anaconda. So knowing that I need to use terrain mode is a big deal for this truck. I do prefer two-pedaling it because, as we saw with terrain mode, this has a little bit more variability in the way that brakes are applied. I prefer things to be a little bit more sudden and in my control. Here, sometimes it rolls back a little bit, sometimes it doesn't. That's not ideal. But if you understand that you need to use terrain mode and not two-pedal, once you take into account front locker, rear locker, the improved ground clearance, we got through all of that, and that is actually a very, very difficult course, simply because it requires a lot of clearance. Really impressed with this Bison. Is it better than my Ranger Raptor? That's a question for another video. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you, and I hope you enjoy them.